allegedly the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album.
I love that one.
Well, it's potentially a confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Cathy White. Yeah, buckle up. On August 28th, 2011, Beyonce announced her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs. On January 7th, 2012, Blue Ivy was born into this world. In 2016, Beyonce dropped Lemonade. Now, as we all know, Lemonade was a true album about infidelity. Jay-Z was rumored to have a very long-time mistress. It was well known in the industry. People knew of Cathy White because of Jay-Z, okay? Yikes. So here's where it gets a little crazy. Cathy White was known to be pregnant in 2011. Shortly after giving birth, Cathy died mysteriously in her apartment of a brain aneurysm.
I have a feeling this is
Okay. Now, even though we saw Beyonce's bump publicly, there's a video of Beyonce sitting down for an interview and her whole stomach just deflates in the video. And it's very weird.
This is crazy.
If you listen to Daughter, the song completely illustrates a confession. The lyrics in the song say, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors, your bloodstains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do." So fans are speculating that Beyonce had Cathy White after Cathy White had the baby and claimed the baby as her own, and that baby is Blue Ivy.
We finally got the shocking truth about Blue Ivy Carter, the princess of hip-hop, Beyonce's firstborn, and about Cathy White, the woman blogs claim was silenced before she could expose Jay-Z's darkest secrets. For over a decade, these two names have been twisted together in whispers and speculation. So what's the real cover-up here? Let's rewind the story. Blue Ivy was born in 2012, but even before her very first cry, she was already front-page news. Beyonce announced that pregnancy at the 2011 VMAs, rubbing her baby bump like a mic drop moment. The reveal instantly became one of the most iconic in music history. But the streets weren't convinced for a second. People swore they saw Beyonce's baby bump fold on live TV, and the surrogacy rumors exploded overnight. Fans argued nonstop about whether she carried that baby herself, and believe it or not, some still fight about it to this very day. Now toss Cathy White into the mix, and things get messy fast. Cathy was a young publicist who, according to the blogs, was romantically linked to Jay-Z, allegedly his mistress. Word was she had the kind of secrets that could blow up the Carter empire. Everything from cheating to deeper dirt. And just as the buzz about her speaking out reached its peak, boom, everything changed. Cathy White suddenly passed away in 2011. Reports said it was an aneurysm. She was only 28. The timing felt way too perfect, almost chilling. One moment Beyonce is glowing on stage with her big pregnancy reveal, and the next, the one woman allegedly tied to Jay-Z's secrets is gone. That's when conspiracy culture kicked into high gear. Some whispered Cathy was silenced. Others swore her death was a warning. And then, months later, Blue Ivy was born, and the theories went wild. People swore Cathy's death and Blue Ivy's birth were two halves of the same mystery. But to the Carters, there was no mystery. For them, Blue Ivy was a blessing. Full stop. Beyonce and Jay-Z even dropped the track Glory just days after her birth, where Jay opened up about the miscarriage they suffered before Blue. That became the official story. Pain, heartbreak, then their miracle baby. But the internet wasn't buying the happily ever after. Every family photo Beyonce shared had a shadow underneath it. A thread about Cathy White, about hidden truths, about timing that felt just a little too neat. Now here we are, years later, with new whispers rising again. Blue Ivy is a teenager carving out her own legacy, yet Cathy White's name still lingers in the background like a ghost tied to the Carter fairy tale. And the question still hangs in the air. Was it coincidence? Or was it cover-up?
You know, what happened to her? This is just a beautiful, young, seemingly healthy 28-year-old woman. I was told that she didn't have any health issues, you know, and it was very shocking to hear. and her colleague did not know what happened to her or how she died or why she died, but all she knew is that she was dead.
When it comes to public spin, nobody plays the game sharper than the Carters. Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't just build an empire on talent, they mastered the art of image control. And when Blue Ivy came into the world, it wasn't just about welcoming their first child, it was about locking down a story that would define their brand forever. The official version was polished like glass. Beyonce, the glowing mother, finally holding her miracle baby after a miscarriage. Jay-Z pouring out fatherly joy on glory. The Carters crowned as the picture-perfect black royalty family. Every magazine cover, every stage shot, every glimpse of Blue Ivy was handled like gold. No messy paparazzi slip-ups, no baby shower leaks, no chance for a different story to creep in. To the public, Blue wasn't just a baby. She was proof their empire was untouchable. But while the glossy narrative ran worldwide, the streets had their own version. Those surrogacy whispers never stopped. Fans broke down that infamous Australian TV moment where Beyonce's stomach seemed to fold as she sat down and swore the pregnancy was staged. The theory? Someone else carried Blue Ivy, and that jaw-dropping VMAs reveal was all part of a carefully planned distraction. The Carters gave us miracle motherhood, but the streets were convinced there was more behind the curtain. The unofficial spin, straight smoke and mirrors. On paper, Cathy White's passing was ruled a tragic aneurysm. Mainstream outlets painted it as nothing more than a young publicist gone too soon. But the blogs weren't buying it. They cast her as the alleged other woman with too much tea, supposedly ready to go public with secrets that could wreck Jay-Z's spotless reputation. Her sudden death came just as Beyonce's pregnancy reveal was breaking the internet, and that's when the conspiracy machine went into overdrive. To fans online, the aneurysm wasn't just a tragedy. It felt like erasure. And that's the split we've been watching play out for years. On one side, the Carters guarded their brand like royalty. Blue Ivy positioned as the chosen heir, while Cathy White's name was quietly scrubbed from the narrative. On the other, the internet's underground tied Blue Ivy and Cathy White together forever, in whispers about timing, power, and secrets that never made the headlines. Even today, you can see both stories colliding in real time. Every time Blue Ivy wins an award or lights up the stage dancing on Beyonce's Renaissance tour, the official narrative gets reinforced. Look at this gifted child, destined for greatness. But scroll the comments, and someone always drags Cathy White's name back into the mix, refusing to let it die. That's the thing about spin. No matter how much the Carters lock down their image, the internet's memory doesn't fade. They tried to bury Cathy White in silence, but in doing so, they guaranteed her ghost would stay forever tied to Blue Ivy's story. The reason people still tie Blue Ivy's story to Cathy White after all these years is simple. Jay-Z's track record with women has never been spotless. Let's be real. Before he became half of the Carter dynasty, Jay was surrounded by cheating rumors, industry flings, and whispers about women who never made the official timeline. And no matter how much time passes, Cathy White's name always floats back to the surface. So who exactly was she? Cathy White was a young, ambitious publicist, moving through New York's entertainment scene, plugged into the right circles, and according to the blogs, allegedly Jay-Z's longtime side piece. The word was she was the one he'd slip away with, even while building his empire with Beyonce. But Cathy wasn't just some fling. She allegedly had knowledge of his lifestyle, his business moves, and even the skeletons he never wanted dragged out. And here's where things got messy. In 2011, reports claimed Cathy was getting ready to speak out. Some said she was sick of being hidden, while others swore she was preparing a tell-all loaded with names, details, and receipts that could shake the industry. But before that could happen, she was suddenly gone. Dead at just 28, ruled an aneurysm. No foul play, no deep dive investigation, just a tragic sudden death. And the timing, way too on the nose. Cathy passes in August 2011, and just weeks later, Beyonce steps on the VMA stage, rubbing her belly and announcing she's pregnant with Blue Ivy. That's the exact overlap conspiracy culture never let go of. That wasn't coincidence. That was choreography. The other woman exits, the chosen heir enters, and the Carter image stays bulletproof. And let's not forget, Beyonce's pregnancy was under a microscope from day one. People swore they saw the baby bump fold, swore she was wearing prosthetics, swore a surrogate carried Blue Ivy. Beyonce clapped back with documentaries and carefully staged interviews, but the whispers never really went away, and Cathy's ghost only made them louder. Jay-Z's own music didn't help his case either. Years later, he flat out admitted to cheating, and his whole 444 album played like a public confession. Fans looked back at that and said, "See? He told on himself," which only made Cathy White's story feel even more believable to conspiracy heads. Line it all up, Jay-Z's messy history with women, Cathy's alleged affair, her sudden death, and Beyonce's rocky pregnancy narrative, and the dots practically connect themselves in people's minds. Blue Ivy wasn't just born into stardom. She was born into a storyline laced with secrets, scandals, and the ghost of a woman whose name was supposed to vanish, but never did.
Question number 1. None of Cathy White's family knew that she was pregnant. 2, none of the doctors, not even the morgue that she was brought into, did like a cavity search to see. Even when they find out people are pregnant when they're murdered, it's like, oh, it's times 2 because the person you was pregnant. But you would have seen that there was a removal of a body, a delivery of a baby. None of her friends, no one questioned anything at all about what happened to her baby. We had a funeral for her and no baby. I really am starting to think all this is a bunch of hocus pocus.
Before we start acting like detectives, let's zoom out. Because the Carters ain't the only ones with family legacies tangled up in secret kids, hidden mistresses, and conveniently timed drama. These kinds of scandals have haunted celebrity culture for decades, and every time the pattern feels a little too familiar. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. For years, he was the picture-perfect family man with Maria Shriver, until boom, the world found out he had a secret child with the housekeeper. And that boy, he wasn't hidden in some faraway place. He had been growing up in plain sight. Overnight, the image of a Hollywood power couple shattered into whispers about a hidden family empire. Or look at Drake. He tried to keep Sophie Brousseau and their son Adonis off the radar until Pusha T put him on blast in a diss track. Suddenly, the whole world knew, and Drake had no choice but to flip the script. From trying to hide it, to rebranding himself as Dad of the Year. Sound familiar? A man hiding skeletons until the truth finally explodes. That's a story we've seen before. Even Steve Jobs, billionaire genius and Apple's golden icon, denied his daughter Lisa for years, even after DNA proved it. His empire kept growing while he acted like she didn't exist. That's the thing about power. It tricks people into thinking they can bury the truth. But secrets always crawl back out. And in Cathy White's case, the energy feels similar, only darker. Unlike Schwarzenegger, Drake, or Jobs, Cathy never got to tell her side. She never got to pull out receipts, never got to sit down for a tell-all interview, never got to drop her own book. She died at 28, right when whispers claimed she was ready to talk. And that's why her name hits so different. Because this isn't just scandal, it's silence. Still, if you flip the narrative, maybe her death really was just a medical tragedy. Aneurysms don't discriminate. They strike fast, brutal, and often without warning. Maybe she wasn't silenced at all. Maybe she was just unlucky. And maybe Beyonce really did carry Blue Ivy herself, with no smoke, no mirrors. Just a painful journey followed by a miracle. Bump and all, maybe the real conspiracy isn't proof of a cover-up at all. It's proof that people just don't trust perfection. The Carters keep everything locked up so tight that fans can't help but fill in the blanks with their own wild scripts. Still, here's the kicker. Perception is everything. Once the public smells mystery, it doesn't matter what the facts are. Arnold will forever be tied to the housekeeper. Drake will always get clowned for hiding his son. And the Carters? No matter what the autopsy said, no matter what the baby photos show, Cathy White's ghost will always hover over Blue Ivy's name in the public eye. So what do you think? Coincidence or cover-up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you in the next one.